Hey, and welcome to Commit to Change, otherwise known as the C2C podcast that gives a voice to people who may be considered a small fry in their industry, but are doing big things in their communities. This is Miss Nikki. Hey, I am the Jane of all trades, but the master of living, and I am committed to introducing local VIPs who are vivaciously inspiring people to encourage you on your daily journey, as well as let you know what is possibly happening around you in your area. So today, I have the astute pleasure to introduce to you someone who came to me or was introduced to me or I met in not necessarily a normal circumstance, and that seems to be like the story of a lot of people that I've met that have come onto the show. But I have to say it has been a blessing to have met her. She is an absolutely wonderful woman and a delight to be around. Her aura, the air about her is just like enlightening. When you get into the room with her, she just energizes you. She makes you feel welcome, and she puts a smile on your face. She's definitely a delight from the moment I met her. Now, before I give you the introduction to her, I do want to take a moment, sidebar, but front bar. I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all of my listeners and watchers who have stayed along this journey for the last couple of years with me, whether I have a full season, half a season, a big break, or whatever. You guys are still there, and that to me means a lot. And I'm hoping that I'm an example of you just never give up, especially when you have a passion to do something. And that's how I feel, is that regardless of which, yeah, I know maybe my episodes might not be back to back, but I'm living life. And so sometimes it's not always going to be that way. So I thank you for being diligent to stay along, the rat race or along the journey with me. So with that being said, I'm not going to call it last. This episode is going to represent a break. Although I haven't aired an episode in a minute. I had some computer issues and then life issue, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I've who I call my investors, which is my day job. There is a possibility that there is a conflict of interest with me doing this podcast. So I am trying to get approval to make sure that I could still come to you and bring some dynamic people to you. I may have to shift it a bit, but whatever, I'm still going to be here, whether it's in this venue with Commit to Change, this level of the show, or I may have to shift gears, but I am going to still come to you in some form or another. So make sure you continue to stay tuned. There are, again, some shifts happening. This location will be changing in the next month. I'm always striving to step up the ladder. So with that comes sometimes moving, whether you're moving my positions or moving locations, to move into something that is more conducive to what it is that I am doing and bringing out to the universe and the world. And of course, being a multi-entrepreneur, I have several things going at different times, including a brick and mortar. And if you've listened to my past episode, I am a mom. So on top of, working the day job, having the podcast, having my brick and mortar, being a mom, and I'm building online businesses, It's crazy. But as you can see, mental health is super, super important. And that's been like, I'm a big advocate for that. And so sometimes you got to dial it back. Sometimes you have to step back and have no excuses and just be good with the decision that you made. And that's kind of where I am. So I just wanted to tell you guys, just thank you for listening all these years. Continue to listen, go back, watch some of the old episodes, or listen to some of the old episodes. They might be relevant to you. Pass it on. Please continue still pass it on to family and friends, because it's still great content. And I plan to come to you with more content. It just may not be in the same subject matter or the same way, but I'm still coming to you because Miss Nikki is not quitting. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce to you the woman of the hour. Her name is Ebony, and Nikki go together in perfect harmony. No, her name is Miss Ebony Rice, aka Emilydidit. She is a young, multi-talented, up-and-coming entrepreneur with a unique sense of fashion. When she moved to Atlanta, the New York native began freelance styling, where she quickly picked up clients such as commercial and print model Mapillar Dahn and EncoreHD Hair Magazine, along with editor-in-chief Larry J. Stevens. Ebony is responsible for Mapillar's spread in volume 10, 11, and 12 of EncoreHD Hair Magazine, her look at the release party, and many of her red carpet looks. Anyone who knows Emily knows that she has a fun and quirky sense of humor, and she is a joy to work with. And like I said, just absolutely amazing from day one of me meeting her, and then continuing forward. She's just a wonderful, like I said, she just has a wonderful spirit. As the lead fashion consultant for Encore HD Magazine, she acquired the name Emily by uh, editor-in-chief Larry J. Stevens in homage to the team's favorite fashion movie, The Devil Wears Prada. On any given photo shoot, you can hear him yell, Emily! And if you know that movie, you will understand where that's coming from. If you don't know that movie, I suggest you Netflix and chill. Hello. So anyway, continue on. You can hear him yell, Emily, at least 100 times during a 10-hour shoot. Hence the hashtag Emilydidit. Look it up. You will find it. Do a hashtag search and you will find her just from that. So again, without further ado, let's welcome Ebony or Emilydidit to the show. So hi, welcome to the C2C podcast. Thank you, Miss Ebony, for coming on the show. We love you. We're grateful that you're here. Please introduce yourself to our audience. Tell them a little bit about who you are, what makes you you, and what you do.
Okay, well, of course, my name is Ebony Rice, but I go by Emilydidit. That's my brand name. Born in New York, which people say I can't claim, whatever. My birth certificate says New York. Raised in the South, Georgia. Started my styling career in Atlanta. This magazine called EncoreHD, which was a fashion, hair, and lifestyle magazine, gave me my first breakthrough opportunity, which I will never forget. Editor-in-chief, Larry Stevens, love you to death. Because that's actually where the name came from. Because our favorite movie is The Devil Wears Prada. So when you've been on set for 12 hours, it's like your name is constantly being called. And then one day he was just like, Emily. And I was like, It was funny. And I responded and then it just stuck. So then after each shoot was finished, it was like, Emilydidit. And then I was like, you know what? Stick it, brand it, it's mine on a t-shirt. Here we go. So from there, I was encouraged to branch out and be my own entity as just Emilydidit, not working under a magazine, not working under a designer, just being out on my own. And then right in the midst of everything kind of popping off for Emilydidit, I fell in love. I met a man. I moved to the other side of the world. Shout out to California. And now I have uprooted from California to Vegas, where I relaunched Emilydidit. And so far, so good.
Yeah, that's what's up. You're well traveled. That's awesome. And I can relate, moving to the other side of the world because of a man.
Yes, girl. Love to do it to you along with something else.
What's really nice is that you had the opportunity to bring people attention, bring attention to, not bring people, but bring attention to your brand in different locations. So you made a mark in every place that you were or are. And so people, they'll be like, oh, I recognize that brand. Why? Because you were in their face, as opposed to it just being something that passed by on social media. It was like, no, you were right there and you were over there and then you were right there. So it's like really, it's really great that you got, that was like your not indirect marketing and moving around your brand. So that's awesome. So let me ask you a question, because you said you were already doing it before you were Emilydidit. So what were you calling yourself at that time? And then did you find that when you branded yourself, it caused you to shift gears in your business?
Well, before all of that, it was just Ebony or Eb, just by my name. And then when I officially branded myself, I felt like things started moving more. But the only thing is, I was still always known as either the EncoreHD girl, which was, I was considered the fashion consultant for the magazine. And then when I was a mentee under one of the top designers in Atlanta, then I was just also just known as Van Miller's stylist. So me branding myself was for people to just kind of realize that I am a brand by myself without those two different, brands.
Right.
And as much as I didn't want to do it, because it's just so much easier to be behind the scenes instead of in the front, because there's so much attention, whether it's indirectly or directly. And I just felt like I wasn't ready for that. And then, they let me know that, that I can be me without them. And
Right.
then I just kind of stepped out and just was like, you know what? I am Emily. It's not the consultant with EncoreHD, and it's not the stylist that's with Van Miller. It's Emilydidit LLC, Personal Stylist.
So tell me, what exactly does a personal stylist do? I know it probably sounds like personal stylist is in the name. You can tell what you do. You style someone personally. But just like for those who don't know exactly, like tell us, in depth what you do, how someone would like go about finding a personal stylist, and then what your goals are when it comes to your business. I'm asking you like 30 questions in one.
Oh, no, and they're all very great questions. So it's interesting because there is like a misconception about a stylist, because there's so many different, I guess, jobs that's under a job when you say stylist. So in the beginning, I was called a fashion stylist, which you can and you can't kind of put a fashion stylist and a personal stylist in the same bucket, more so because fashion stylists are geared more toward like the higher end brands, and they get to pull from like designers and like certain shops that they can pull for photo shoots and celebrities and so forth and so on, where a personal stylist is more of a intimate connection that you have with your clients specifically. But even though I am a personal stylist, I love photo shoots because I can bring so much more out of my client in a photo shoot versus just you telling me your favorite color, what you're trying to go for, and then I just pick out some stuff and let you see what you're comfortable with. With the photo shoot, I get to get my client to push past what they're used to and get to, where they get to have the opportunity to see themselves in a different light that they normally wouldn't see themselves in. So with my brand, I kind of put it under an androgynous brand just because I've always been very tomboyish, even though I am learning to mix and match my flows. So I might wear a suit, an actual men's suit, but I'll wear it with heels. Or I'll wear a female suit and I'll wear it with chucks. I like to be able to bring different genres into how I style. And then I try to incorporate that with my clients. Like, I know that you're so used to this or you're so used to that. Why don't you try something else? Because sometimes I feel like people use clothes to hide behind, whatever's going on in their life. And we've been through a lot in the last year, which means that involves a lot of sweatpants and a lot of hoodies, like we're covering up something where there's depression or fat. But whatever it may be, like things are changing. So why not, change along with it? Like bring some more color into your life. Show your thighs, whether they're big or small, like embrace where you are and live out loud. So that's what I kind of wanted to do with my brand. And if you're female or you're male, however you identify, I don't care. I just want you to be able to be your best self in whatever form of fashion that's in.
Wow. We got to be our best self. Yes. So, I want to know a little bit more about Ebony. So, just an icebreaker, a little. Can you tell our audience one thing that maybe someone or that people don't know about you?
Ooh. That's hard because I feel like I'm pretty open. I don't know if most people would technically know that I have a kid. I mean, I didn't technically birth him, but he is mine. A lot of people have known me to be fancy free and no kids for me. And but when I fell in love, I acquired some beautiful situations, and one personally is mine officially, I would say. So
Okay.
yeah, so that would be, I guess, the softer side of M is that even though I technically don't want to birth kids, I do love them. Sometimes they're very confusing, but this one kid in particular kind of stole my heart. So he won't be getting rid of me anytime soon.
Okay. So during the pandemic, you had people who binged, and then you had people who built. So my question to you is, did you binge or build?
Um, hmm, uh, Maybe I feel like I did both, but more so building just because I had to completely start over again in a new state. So it was meeting a whole nother group of people, which one would be you. That was a blessing. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Uh, but the starting over for like the third time is not easy, but they also say that third time is the charm. So I got a chance to regroup through a lot of journaling, manifestation, meditation, saging, and it was just like, if I'm gonna do this for the third and final time, we're gonna make sure that we do this right. Finding positive people, making sure they have the right energy, making sure that if it's not for me in regards to my business, then don't let it be around me. Don't have any more blockers as far as what I'm trying to see and where I'm trying to go. So I think the pandemic for a lot of people put a lot of things in perspective. So for me, it was probably kind of just the focus more so on myself and my business.
Right, right. Well, I have to tell you, it was also a blessing to meet you. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, I mean, you are doing it up. So I look at you and I'm just like, wow. Like every time I see your pictures go up, or I mean, just even your past ones, because even when you came into the door, because you know, of course, when you wear a mask, it just takes away from you just see a small portion of someone. And then in the industry that we met in, it wasn't where I got to see the full fledged of who you are, you know? And so when I looked at what you were doing, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the person that I get to share space with. Like, I was like, nice, nice. And you know, it's something beautiful to see someone who's growing, someone who, especially as a Black woman, you're growing your own brand, you're doing your own thing, and you're not afraid, you know, you're not letting fear take, hold you back. And then you're not afraid to start over, because you could have just said, you know, screw this, I'm not doing this all over again. And the fact that you have the longevity, or the, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out, Emily.
Drive, passion, sounds
Right,
like.
there you go. Yes. Yes, just to keep going. That says a lot about you and how, and your why in your brand. So tell me, what brought you into fashion? Like, what made you decide, like, I want to do this as a career? I want to style people. Like, what got you there?
I think it was because I was fat and I was like, I can't wear nothing. I'm like, I have to shop in like the older women's section. I'm like, what is happening in this section? What is going on? Like, so fashion forced me to try to lose some weight so I could wear the stuff that I actually wanted to wear. But in the interim, it allowed me to style other people who was in the weight frame per se that I wanted to be in. Because my favorite store has always been Express. But back in the day, Express didn't go past, I want to say, a size 8, nor did they let you work there if you didn't wear a size 8. So that really forced me to like get my weight under control, and to really, you know, like platform into it. But it also was a learning experience, because just because the Express women wouldn't hire me, Express men did. So that's where like the androgynous part, I think, started to really come into play, because I could wear the men's clothes. So then I would wear my skirts with maybe their button downs and a tie to work. So that's why I want to kind of incorporate female and menswear together and still make it sexy. But it was more so just the weight thing, I think, that kind of pushed me into fashion. And because I was obsessed with Clueless also when I was like in middle school, high school, like 90210, and anything dealing with fashion, I was obsessed with. Tu Wong Fu, any drag queen movie, I was right there in the front. I'm like, yes, queen. I want to wear that. I want to wear that. So, yeah.
So when you decided to make the commitment to change your life, so starting your business and dressing others, was this before you lost the weight or after?
It started before. And then when I really started getting serious, then that's when I felt like I had to lose weight. And as much as we try not to put weight in the forefront of everything in the industry of fashion, when I felt like I was first starting, it was such a huge deal because designers had this thing where they didn't want to make clothes bigger than a size, 2, 4. It was pushing it to, make like couture items that were size 6 and 8, because to them, that's considered plus size. That costs more fabric, that messes up their bottom line, and they have a harder time selling bigger clothes versus their smaller clothes. So once I learned all of that, it's like then the industry started changing and more designers accepted that all women aren't going to be a size 2 to 6. Right. Shit, most women, earmuffs.
That's all
most
right.
Women aren't aren't going to even be a size 8. I feel the average women are size 10 and up. So you have to make the change to make bigger size fashionable clothes. Don't just think we want to come out in some muumuus. No, we want to be able to wear what everyone else is wearing, but make sure it fits our body.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's hard to find clothes when you're heavier, which is sad. Although they do have plus size now, but a lot of times, even the plus size, there's no style to it. So
Right.
Maybe I'm going to the wrong place. I don't know, but it's just like really, this is what this is actually. Now I'm thinking of something, and this is something that maybe if you have a chance to check it out, there is a thing on YouTube. There, it's Black women's skits. Oh, what was the name of it? It's so funny. Oh my God, because they have a skit on there about plus size clothing. Like there's not many choices. And so like the plus size women that came to the party pretty much had the same dress on. And they were trying to the one person who wore it, like the main person who wore it, she was trying to make it seem like it was a vintage outfit, so nobody else has that. Then another girl came in with the same outfit. It had like a slight difference of color, or she wore it the way that she had it. She wore it backwards or something, or she wore it differently, but it was the same outfit. And so they were going back. She was like, "Oh," her friends were like, "Oh, vintage, huh?" Like it was just funny. And then they go into the whole speech about like plus size clothes. And then there was a skinny girl wearing the same dress. And she was like, "Can't we have our clothes? We already don't have clothes." You have to see it. The way that they put it together is hilarious. So like I have to get that to you. First of all, that skit show is it's absolutely hilarious. But that was one of them that they had on there. You made me think of that. But anyway, I digress. So tell me. Oh man, Ebony, you're gonna be like, what is happening right now? But
no, I love it. We're flowing.
Please tell me, like, when you decided I'm gonna do this as a business, what obstacles did you encounter, if any, and how did you overcome them?
Money, and more money. You kind of have to just make a priority list. I will say that. And just go down the list of things you want to put at the top, and then things that you can kind of wait to the end to kind of do. So, any little drop of money I was getting, I was filtering it in the business because, making yourself into, an LLC, that costs money. Branding costs money. But, you just take the steps. You don't have to do everything at once. You just break it down and then just move accordingly.
Right, exactly. And because what happens, you get overwhelmed and then you don't want to do anything.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, who would you say throughout all of this has been your biggest supporter? And it could be different people at different phases too.
Um, well, of well, I would say my family first, of course, even though they're like, I don't know what it is you do, but I'm going to support you and I love you. And then whatever it is you want me to buy, I'll buy it. And then my friends have been very supportive and motivating, and however they can help, they jump in. Especially when I did my launch, like, all of my girls came together to help me set up the room. They were my models when I was doing like my little intro video. So uh, I definitely, excuse me, have to give a lot of props, hugs, and kisses to my friends who, took a late flight after they got off work from the East Coast just to literally
Wow.
be with me for 48 hours and jump right back on a plane to go to work, just so I could have a really good relaunch for my business. So I have to say thank you to all of them.
Wow. That's real support. That is real support.
Yeah.
And your video was banging. I just have to tell you.
Okay,
So
thank
y'all make
you.
sure when y'all follow Miss Emily, Miss Ebony, I'm like, I want to call you Ebony, but then I got to call you Emily. So Miss E, Miss Emilydidit. When you follow Miss Emilydidit, check out her video. Fabulous. I love it. Um,
Yes. Uh,
so how do you feel that you are adding value to your community by what you do?
well, I just want to be able to bring your greatest self to the forefront, one outfit at a time. I
Mm,
mean, a lot of people like, yeah, what's the point of a personal stylist? But people don't realize, like, it's a very, very common thing to have a personal stylist. Like, not just celebrities have a fashion stylist slash personal stylist. Like, everyone needs assistance in any and every part of their life, whether they need something fixed in their house, something in their closet. Everybody has something that they need. So you can have a closet full of things ready to throw out, thinking you need a whole new wardrobe. And then that's where personal stylists can come in, and they can pick out at least 3 or 5 outfits in your closet that you do not need to get rid of, revamp it, and you have like several outfits for the week that you can mix and match that you never thought that you would do before you're about to give it to Salvation Army. So it's like little things like that that you wouldn't think of, but is very useful, especially since most people have to go back into the office now,
yeah.
So those outfits need to start coming up and popping. Like, you're going to have to like shake them clothes out and knock the dust off, to get ready to go back in the office.
Yes. And when is it that you're coming to Colorado?
And when you want me to.
You already know. I told you the invitation is open. I'll test how days on my first times.
I mean, I can be the little snow black bunny out there, with a cute little suit on,
What's
with a red lip
now?
going down the slopes.
You're funny. It's actually hot over here. Because you said you've been here before.
Really?
I haven't been here. And I was, anytime I thought of Colorado, I just always thought snow, snow, snow. But yeah, it's actually
Right.
hot over here. So I was like, it's
Ooh.
nice. I like this weather. But I won't probably say that in the wintertime, but it's all good. All right, Miss Lady, we are going to do a lightning round. So I'm going to ask you like 5 questions, and then
Okay.
you answer whatever comes to your mind. And yeah, we'll just flow like that. So, real quick, what initially held you back, if anything, to commit your life to becoming a personal stylist?
Fear.
Yes. I almost want to know what fear. I'm like, I want to know a little bit more. I know I said lightning, but I'm interested in learning a little bit more. What was the fear of?
And because I'm just so used to, I guess, pushing other people in the forefront and being everyone else's cheerleader, that when it came time for me to be my own cheerleader, I was like, oh, okay, this is a little bit too much. Because then that means all the attention is now on you versus the other people that you're just in the back cheering for. So that was the fear, like all the attention that I didn't feel like I was ready for, versus like when it's a group project, it's like everybody either gets cheered or booed. But when you out there by yourself, it's like, oh no, it's just you, honey. Nobody following but you. So that was the initial like, right,
so. The hesitation. So what do you say was the best advice that you've ever received?
I don't know. I mean, this is the first thing that came to my head, but my mom, whenever I felt like, I was feeling discouraged, or if something negative came at me, and then she would be like, girl, don't worry about what that person said or what that person's doing or whatever. She's like, they used to talk about Jesus too, right? And like, look at what all he done. I was like, oh, you're right, Mom. You're right. So I just think about that.
Okay. Now share a personal habit that contributes to your success.
Personal care and self-love. I used to never do that because, again, I was always trying to make sure everyone else was taken care of. Everybody else is looking good in the limelight, but yet my nails are busted, my hair looking a mess, but everybody else I'm doing something for looks amazing. So now it's like, since I'm a single entity, I'm like, no, you need to take that time to get your nails done, get your hair done, get your facial, because if you feel good on the inside and the outside, then that can flow through your business. So that's what I've been learning to do more.
Okay. Well, you always seem like a very busy woman, but do you ever have a chance to get into any books? And if so, what book would you recommend to the C2C audience and why?
It might be lame, but Who Moved My Cheese? I don't know how many times I read that book, but I lived in a very small town where people didn't want to leave or venture out. Eventually some did, but my whole thing was, I can't be pigeonholed. Like, I can't feel like I'm stuck. Like, even if I don't have the money, I'm going to figure out a way how to go. And you can't be afraid of the unknown, because if you do that, then you won't ever do it. And, I'm not just talking about getting on a roller coaster, getting on the plane. I'm just saying, like, living out your dreams, not being afraid to keep pushing for it, even when someone's like, why are you still trying to do that? And you're like 40 years old. Like, why should it matter that this is still what you want to do? Like, even if you're 50, complete it. No regrets. When I go out, I want to make sure that everything that I set out for myself, that I did it. Right. And I didn't let fear or anyone else stop me from getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
And even if it was a mistake or regret, it's okay, because it's mine. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you were told that you had 1 hour left to live and you were, I know that's big, you were given the opportunity to give one final message, what would it be?
Oh, that's tough. Oh wow. I guess it would be for my kid Tamir, who, let him know, even though I'm his second mom, to let him know that no matter what, that I love him and I did everything I could possible for him before I left, or tried to.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
No emotion.
So if you were to meet someone that kind of like had ideas to venture out in a business, but they also had very similar fears as you, what tips would you give someone who is in that position?
Um, just just to do it. Like Nike, just do it. Like, I mean, I get that it's always gonna be there's always gonna be something that's gonna get in your way to try to stop you from doing what you want to do. So it's just you have to work around it, whether it's the money, the time, whether you need to get a second job, whether you need to tell your family between these hours, I need this time to be able to focus on my business. So
Mhm.
it'll be pizza night this night or whatever. Or if you need to go back to school, just, set a plan, write it out, and just check it off, you know? Make a 6 month, make a 12-month goal to just work towards your what it is that you're trying to do. Like it doesn't have to happen overnight.
Right.
Manifest, put it on your board, look at it every day so it encourages you to not give up. I have a
Right.
board that I look at every day to remind me what it is that you want to do, where are you trying to go. So you have no excuse because you see it every day.
Right. And directly and indirectly, it affects your actions because
Mhm.
you see that and you're gonna make actions that work towards your goal. So it's
Right.
important for that. So is there anything in your process that just your past and in getting to today, is there anything that you look back and say, man, I wish I would have done that better or differently?
Mm, ooh, probably my bag that I first came out with, which was this really cute high neon pink bag that I call the M bag that started off as like a model on the go bag. I wish that I could have worked on that harder then because now I feel like I have it where it should have been there then.
Mm.
But like I said, no regrets. It's a learning experience. And that's why you can do relaunches or rebranding. If you don't get it right the first two times, you can always try and start again.
Right, exactly. So tell us a little bit more about that bag.
I'm so glad you asked. So, this is the end bag. And I got this idea from when I would do photo shoots or I was at fashion shows because photo shoots and fashion shows are literally an all day process. And models, they say they were models, would come to set and would not have nothing, but maybe just their clothes that they're changing into. They wouldn't have liners, they wouldn't have deodorant, they wouldn't have safety pins and bobby pins. And yes, as a stylist, I have all of those things, but sometimes you won't always have a stylist on set depending on budget. So it's always to have a best practice of to have your own little personal stylist with you. So with mine, well, I think this is my personal one, but I included like bobby pins because you never know if there's a hair malfunction. There's always clothes that are falling apart right when you're about to hit the runway. So you always need a safety pin. If you're doing all day shoots, you have to have a feminine line of a white for like body, your cuckoo area, a tampon just in case, it just happened unexpectedly. A first aid kit is probably the top thing because some models, like whether they have gone from one shoot to another, like this has aspirin in it, it has gauze, it has neosporin, it has everything that you need for whatever might happen, a fall or slip or whatever. And then I also have like emergency and other little cute little items that are in the bag. And
Oh,
what
wow.
makes this bag so much better is because it now has a hook that you can hang on the door in the shower. Whereas my first bag that I came out with, it was kind of bulky and it was a cylinder shape. Whereas this is a little bit more sleeker, and you can put it in a lot more places than you could the other one. You can literally slide this in your purse, your carry-on bag, your book bag, and it doesn't take up that much space.
Wow, that's pretty.
Thank you
for sharing that with us. Well, now that you showed us that beautiful bag, you have to tell us, like, where can we find more about you? Like, how do we find out about your line, what you do, how to contact you, how to hire you?
Of course, that part. So you can find me on Instagram, _Emilydidit, or on Facebook under Emilydidit, not without the underscores, just Emilydidit. Or you can go to my website, which is emilydiditworld.com, where you can subscribe and see what new items that might come about.
Okay, yeah. Well, we appreciate you sharing everything about you and your personal life and about your brand with the C2C audience. You have been a complete pleasure. Let me put this. What? Now, let me ask you before we let you go, are you selling those t-shirts as well?
I'm technically out of these, but I do have tank tops that will be in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, nice. Well, put me down for one. I would like one, please.
Yes.
Y'all, is it one color or is it a choice of colors?
The two colors are turquoise and like heather gray.
Ooh, okay. Very nice. Well, I'm getting one. So you guys better make sure you get one and make sure you contact her at the links that she just provided. Don't forget. Yes, don't forget. So sad to say it is a wrap. I do want to thank Ebony for coming and being our VIP guest, which by the way is a very VIP, just so you know, is vivaciously inspiring people. And that is you. So thank you for being our guest today. And I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. We do hope you feel inspired, and we want you to keep moving forward towards your goals and stick with or make a commitment to change your life. And make sure that if there's anyone that you know that may find interest in the show, to share with your friends, your family, and give anyone the information that you feel may benefit from it. And remember, in order to get to the top of the steps, you have to take the first step. Just don't step on anyone on the way, because you just might trip. So this is Miss Nikki and Miss Ebony, Miss Emilydidit, and we are saying till next time.